Have you ever wondered how pretending to be clueless could actually improve your life as you age? It might sound strange, but in old age, knowing when to act like you don't know something can be one of your most powerful tools for maintaining peace, preserving relationships, and avoiding unnecessary stress. In today's video, we're going to dive into 7 situations where playing a little dumb can actually make your life a lot easier and more enjoyable. As we get older, strategy and wisdom become essential in navigating life's complexities. Sometimes the simplest actions, like pretending to be stupid, can give us more control over our environments and interactions than we might expect. Stick around because these tips might just change the way you approach everyday situations. 1. When you're dealing with family drama. Family gatherings can be a breeding ground for tension, misunderstandings, and even heated arguments. When you're older, the last thing you need is to be caught up in emotional chaos, especially when it's over trivial matters. Sometimes the best way to handle family drama is to simply step back, let the younger generations take the spotlight, and avoid getting pulled into unnecessary squabbles. By pretending to be oblivious or uninterested, you can save yourself from the stress of being in the middle of family feuds. Take the example of a wise grandmother named Mabel. Every year, her extended family gathers for a big holiday dinner, and each year, there's at least one argument about politics, personal decisions, or even the seating arrangements. Instead of getting involved or trying to offer her opinion, something she knows from years of experience may only escalate things, Mabel pretends to be a little confused. When the argument heats up, she'll gently smile and say, "I don't quite understand what you're all talking about, dear." Her calmness and confusion often disarm the situation, causing the younger family members to move on to less controversial topics. By acting uninterested or playing the role of the confused elder, Mabel maintains her emotional well-being and avoids being dragged into the emotional whirlpool that often comes with family drama. She's learned that sometimes silence and non-engagement are far more powerful than voicing an opinion, especially when it's likely to lead to conflict. It's not that Mabel doesn't care about her family, it's that she values her inner peace more than being involved in every squabble. The life lesson here is simple. Peace of mind is often more valuable than being right. As we age, we realize that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every argument needs a response. Sometimes the best course of action is to remove yourself from the situation entirely, or, in Mabel's case, to play a little dumb. By doing so, you avoid unnecessary stress and can focus on the things that truly matter, like enjoying the company of your loved ones without the weight of every family disagreement. In the end, pretending to be stupid in these situations isn't about avoiding responsibility or disengaging from important conversations. It's about knowing when to pick your battles. Sometimes, letting the younger generation work things out on their own and keeping your peace is the wisest choice you can make. So, next time you find yourself in the middle of family drama, consider Mabel's strategy. Step back, pretend to be a little out of the loop, and preserve your mental and emotional energy. 2. When younger people try to teach you new tech. As technology continues to evolve, it's becoming increasingly common for younger generations to take on the role of teacher, showing their older family members how to use the latest gadgets and apps. While it may seem like they're the experts, and you might already know more than they do about the tech they're introducing you to, sometimes it's better to just let them play the teacher. By pretending to be less knowledgeable or even a little clueless about the tech they're showing you, you can avoid unnecessary frustration and foster a deeper connection. Take the example of Henry, a spry 75-year-old grandfather who has mastered just about every gadget he owns. One day, his granddaughter Lily excitedly offers to show him how to use a new smartphone app she's discovered. Henry knows exactly how to use the app and probably could have taught her a thing or two, but instead he smiles and says, "Oh, I'm not sure how this works. Could you show me?" Lily, feeling proud of herself, eagerly walks him through the app, explaining all its features. Henry listens patiently, occasionally asking questions to make her feel like the expert. Even though Henry doesn't need the tutorial, he lets Lily enjoy the moment of teaching. It's not about whether or not he's learned something new. It's about making her feel valued and letting her have the spotlight. By playing the role of the eager student, Henry strengthens their bond and avoids the awkwardness of correcting her or making her feel less knowledgeable. The conversation stays light, and they both get to share a positive experience together. The life lesson here is simple. It's often better to foster connection than to prove your point. Letting younger people feel knowledgeable and capable can lead to more fulfilling, positive interactions. By taking a step back and letting them teach you, you avoid any frustration that could come from nitpicking or challenging their approach. After all, technology is a tool to bring us closer, not create barriers between generations. Next time you find yourself in a situation where a younger family member is excited to teach you something, consider taking a page out of Henry's book. Allow them to be the teacher, even if you know the material inside and out. Not only will you spare yourself from frustration, but you'll also create an opportunity for bonding, laughter, and mutual respect. 3. When they ask you about trendy stuff you don't care about. As we get older, we might find ourselves less interested in keeping up with the latest trends or buzzwords that are constantly circulating in younger circles. Whether it's the newest TikTok challenge, a viral meme, or a new fashion craze, these topics can sometimes feel overwhelming and out of place in our lives. In these moments, pretending to be oblivious to these trendy topics can be a wise choice. It allows you to avoid pointless conversations while preserving your mental energy and keeping the peace. Take the example of Clara, a lively 70-year-old woman who enjoys spending time with her grandchildren. One afternoon, her grandkids excitedly ask her if she's seen the latest TikTok dance that's been going viral. Clara has no idea what they're talking about, but instead of faking enthusiasm or trying to keep up, she smiles and says, "Oh dear, I don't think I've seen that one. What is it?" Her grandkids go on to explain the dance and the trends behind it. But Clara, knowing she has no interest in joining the hype, continues to smile and nod. She lets them enjoy sharing the latest trend without getting caught up in a conversation that holds no value for her. By pretending to be a bit out of the loop, Clara avoids feeling pressured to take part in a trend she doesn't care about. She doesn't waste energy pretending to be interested or trying to understand something that doesn't resonate with her. Instead, she lets her grandchildren have their moment to share their excitement, and she can stay in the conversation without having to dive deep into something that doesn't align with her interests. Clara knows that the conversation is about more than the dance. It's about connecting with her grandchildren, and she lets them lead it. The life lesson here is that sometimes avoiding certain topics can protect your mental space and energy. Not every trendy subject deserves your attention, and you don't need to engage with every buzzword or new craze that comes your way. By letting go of the pressure to keep up, you can focus your energy on things that matter to you. It's perfectly fine to politely disengage from conversations that don't hold your interest. It doesn't make you any less engaged or caring. So, the next time someone brings up a topic you're simply not interested in, consider adopting Clara's approach. Smile, nod, and let them talk about it while keeping your peace. By pretending not to understand or care, you can save yourself from unnecessary stress and avoid getting bogged down in conversations that ultimately don't matter in the bigger picture of your life. 4. When you're being offered help for things you can still do. As we get older, we may find that people, whether family, friends, or even strangers, are more inclined to offer help with everyday tasks, even though we're still perfectly capable of doing them ourselves. Whether it's carrying groceries, reaching for something on a high shelf, or opening a door, these small gestures of assistance can sometimes feel unnecessary. but there's an art to accepting help graciously, even when you don't need it. Sometimes, it's about making others feel good about their willingness to lend a hand, fostering kindness and connection in the process. Take the example of George, a sharp-witted 80-year-old who is perfectly able to carry his own groceries. However, when his young neighbor Sarah offers to help him carry the bags to his door, George smiles and politely accepts. He knows he could manage just fine on his own, but letting Sarah help him allows her to feel useful and appreciated. As they walk to his house together, George engages her in light-hearted conversation, making the most of the moment to connect. George knows that by allowing Sarah to help, he's also giving her a sense of purpose, and sometimes that's more important than doing everything yourself. By pretending to need help with tasks you're fully capable of handling, you allow others to experience the joy of giving. It's a simple act that builds rapport and strengthens relationships. Sarah feels happy that she's been able to contribute, and George gets to enjoy her company without feeling like he's inconveniencing her. The exchange is positive and heartwarming for both parties, and the act of allowing help becomes an opportunity for bonding, kindness, and gratitude. The life lesson here is clear. Letting others help fosters connection and kindness. Even if you're perfectly capable of doing something on your own, letting someone offer assistance can be a gift in itself. It's about recognizing that the act of giving and receiving help goes beyond the task at hand. It creates a space for emotional exchange and strengthens social ties. When we allow others to lend a hand, we acknowledge their goodwill, making them feel valued and connected. Next time someone offers to help you with something you could easily do yourself, think of it as an opportunity to let them feel good about their kindness. You're not only receiving assistance, but you're also enriching the relationship, making them feel needed and appreciated. Whether it's carrying groceries or just holding the door open, sometimes it's the simplest acts of letting others help that have the greatest impact on both sides. 5. When you're being asked for advice on things you don't have an opinion about. As we age, we often become the go-to source for wisdom and advice, especially within our families. People look to us for guidance on a wide range of topics, from relationships to health to career decisions. But sometimes we find ourselves being asked for advice on things we simply don't know enough about or haven't experienced ourselves. In these situations, pretending you don't have enough information to give sound advice can be a smart move. It allows you to avoid offering guidance that could be misguided or just plain unhelpful. For instance, take the story of Eleanor, a grandmother who has lived a full and fulfilling life. One day, her nephew Tom asks her for career advice. He's considering a move into a high-tech industry that Eleanor knows little about. Instead of pretending to understand the intricacies of modern tech jobs, Eleanor responds by saying, "Well, I'm not really up to date on that kind of work, dear. I think you might want to ask someone who's more familiar with the field." Rather than offering advice she's not qualified to give, Eleanor lets Tom know that his question is beyond her scope of expertise. By staying quiet and admitting she doesn't have an opinion, Eleanor not only keeps herself from giving bad advice, but she also allows Tom the space to seek guidance from someone who actually knows more about the subject. It's a subtle way of protecting both her peace of mind and Tom's career path. He might be disappointed in the moment, but he also respects her honesty and wisdom. Eleanor recognizes that sometimes it's more helpful to be honest about what you don't know than to offer vague or unhelpful suggestions that could lead to poor outcomes. The life lesson here is that not every question needs an answer. Just because someone comes to you for advice doesn't mean you have to have all the answers. It's okay to admit when something is outside your area of expertise. In fact, doing so can preserve the quality of the advice you give and keep you out of uncomfortable situations. It's a reminder that wisdom isn't just about knowing everything. It's also about knowing when to step back and allow others to seek guidance from the right sources. Next time someone asks for advice on something you're not familiar with, take a page from Eleanor's book. Politely admit that you don't have enough knowledge to help and encourage them to seek out someone who is more qualified. This approach not only avoids the risk of giving poor advice, but also upholds the value of honesty and humility, qualities that only add to your wisdom as you age. 6. When you don't want to be the center of attention. As we get older, there are times when we don't want the spotlight on us. Even though our achievements and experiences may have earned us recognition, being the center of attention can sometimes feel uncomfortable, especially if it comes with pressure or unwanted praise. In these situations, pretending not to know something, or even misunderstanding compliments, can be a clever way to avoid being put on the spot, allowing you to maintain a sense of peace and humility. Take, for example, the story of Margaret, a woman in her late 70s who had recently been honored by her community for her lifelong service. At a gathering, people began showering her with praise for all the work she had done. Instead of standing proudly in the limelight, Margaret shyly waved her hand and said, "Oh, I'm not sure I deserve all this fuss. I was just doing my part, nothing special." When the compliments continued, she playfully added, "I think there's been a mix-up. Who are you talking about?" By pretending to misunderstand the level of praise, Margaret shifted the focus away from herself and diffused the tension, allowing everyone to keep things light-hearted. Margaret's modest response wasn't just a way to dodge attention, it was a reflection of her humility and her preference for keeping things simple. While she deserved the recognition, she found more comfort in deflecting the spotlight rather than basking in it. Her playful refusal to take the compliment allowed her to continue to be the person she's always been, humble, unassuming, and focused on the collective rather than herself. It also allowed others to feel comfortable in the conversation, not making anyone feel awkward by placing too much emphasis on her. The life lesson here is that humility often brings more peace than attention. While there are times to proudly own your achievements, there are also moments when it's perfectly okay to let the attention pass by. By pretending not to know how much recognition you truly deserve, you can maintain your sense of inner peace and keep things from getting uncomfortable. Being humble doesn't diminish your worth. Rather, it allows you to preserve your sense of self and avoid unnecessary stress or pressure. So, the next time you find yourself being praised or becoming the focus of attention, remember Margaret's example. Pretend not to understand or misinterpret the compliments and redirect the conversation in a way that keeps the peace. Sometimes, stepping back from the spotlight and allowing others to share in the moment of joy can be the most fulfilling choice, bringing a sense of tranquility that attention often fails to offer. 7. When people try to take advantage of your old age. As we age, there are unfortunately some who may try to take advantage of our vulnerability, whether through scams, questionable offers, or manipulative situations. These individuals often believe that older people are easier to deceive or pressure into making decisions. In such moments, pretending not to understand or feigning ignorance about certain deals can be a smart tactic to protect yourself from being exploited. By doing so, you can avoid confrontation and keep yourself safe from harmful situations. Consider the story of Harold, a 75-year-old who one day receives a phone call offering a special discount on a vacation package that sounds too good to be true. The person on the other end insists that Harold must act quickly to secure the deal, which raises a red flag. Instead of engaging in a debate or confrontation, Harold calmly plays along, feigning confusion about the details. He asks the caller to clarify over and over again, posing questions that make the deal seem more complicated than it really is. Eventually, the caller gives up, sensing Harold's lack of commitment and confusion, and ends the conversation. By pretending not to understand, Harold avoided being taken advantage of without having to argue or confront the scammer directly. Harold's approach is a great example of how you can deflect pressure without escalating the situation. By pretending to be confused or unaware of what's happening, you shift the focus away from yourself, making it less likely that the person will continue trying to manipulate you. Feigning ignorance allows you to take back control without confrontation or stress, ensuring that you don't fall victim to a scam or unscrupulous offer. At the same time, it prevents you from feeling like you have to justify yourself or argue with someone who may not have your best interests in mind. The life lesson here is that wisdom lies in knowing when to stand firm and when to appear naive. There are times when it's necessary to assert yourself and protect your interests, but there are also moments when pretending to be unaware can be just as effective. By choosing to act confused or not fully understanding a situation, you can protect your peace and avoid getting drawn into manipulative schemes. It's a way of using your experience and wisdom to navigate tricky situations without giving away any power. Next time you encounter someone trying to take advantage of your old age or pressure you into a decision that doesn't feel right, remember Harold's strategy: play it cool and feign confusion. It's a way to take control of the situation without giving in or engaging in an uncomfortable confrontation. This simple act of pretending to be naive can serve as a powerful tool in protecting yourself while maintaining your peace of mind. Conclusion. And there you have it. Sometimes pretending to be clueless or naive is the smartest move you can make to protect your peace and avoid unnecessary stress. As we age, knowing when to step back and let others take the lead, or when to keep things lighthearted, can make a world of difference. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to comment with a 9 if you agree, or a 0 if you think there's another situation where pretending to be stupid could help. Take care and see you in the next video.